Are you like us? Tired of all the politically correct horseshit on podcasts and in the media? Need a podcast that's funny, smart, and gassy? It's not politically correct. It's just correct. This is the Carolina Underground. Throw that middle finger in the air. Raise them up. Because it's time to get loud, proud, and in your face. Generation X. Generation X. The best generation of all time meets the grit of the South. It's about everything and nothing at all. From current events to woolly boogers to movies to politics. Loud, brash, funny, and never, and I do mean never, predictable. The Carolina Underground with Mark and Mike.
Yo, 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 yo. It's the Carolina Underground, and we're back again, coming to you live from the replica Bat Cave and somewhere deep in the depths of the darkened continent of Sparkleberry.
Good evening, man. You might ought to have the General Lee warmed up and ready tonight. I'm kind of loaded for burr.
Well, I got some three-pecker billy goat.
Well, you know, that really pretty much always puts me off. I can't think of a single thing to say after hearing about a three-peckered billy goat that's not going to
you gotta
be
like
offensive.
The three-peckered billy goat.
Hey, I'm sure there's somebody out there that is very fond of a three-peckered billy goat, but I can't, I can't think of nothing that's not vulgar.
Oh. So what's been going on?
Well, I don't generally review movies that irk me, but I did go see the Civil War movie that has just come out and gone into theaters, and it was not the movie that I expected it to be. Now, it wasn't quite as much of a shock as Marley and Me was when I went to go see that, when it was billed as a romantic comedy.
I don't think I've ever seen Marley and Me.
Oh, well, it's one of those things. I'll warn you. It's, the dog dies at the end.
I don't want to see that then.
Yeah. And
I'd rather people die than dogs.
Yep. And I took my then girlfriend and my daughters to go see this romantic comedy about, a couple and their dog, and left with three women crying their eyes out and mad as hell at me for taking them to see that movie.
Well, they were going to get mad about you at some point anyway about something. So,
well, there's no doubt of that. But so, the Civil War movie, I really expected to be focused on what caused the Civil War, and I expected a war movie, but it was really focused on the lives of a bunch of journalists who were covering the war. And it was, in my opinion,
got me turned off because I don't give a damn about no journalists anyway. Because none of them alive left that are real journalists anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of my take on it. And I just don't like it when they do a bait and switch like that. Now, I mean, again, it was decidedly left leaning. In my opinion, I haven't seen anything come out of Hollywood that is not decidedly left leaning, especially these days.
I think the last movie that I went to the theater to see was probably Bad Boys for Life with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Well, they've got another. I thought that was the movie that's about, that's the Bad Boys movie that's in the theaters right now. They've got one in theaters right now about Bad Boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it may be the same one. I saw it, and I mean, I love going to the theater. I truly do. I enjoy the entire experience. Okay. It's like, I mean, again, when we were on the way in, we were talking about drive-ins. I loved drive-ins.
I like
I think
drive-ins too. We used to have one right here near the house.
right. And I think the drive-in theater movie experience was the absolute ultimate experience.
Oh, I
Okay. Now,
love the drive-in movies. I think
yeah,
there's still one around here somewhere, but it's like 45 minutes away.
there are two because we were talking about that and I looked them up. And so
One in like
actually
Albemarle or something like that.
yeah, and we're actually talking about getting a group of people together and going to see something at them. So, I'll
So
talk
you
to you
are
about that
correct.
also.
There is a new Bad Boys movie coming out, but it doesn't come out until June the 7th. It's called Bad
Ah,
Boys Ride or Die.
gotcha. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that was one of the things that was advertised. But like I said, I absolutely love the whole theater experience. I really truly do. And
Well, that's
again, I
called
love
You Rich.
no, it's not about being rich because I never did buy much in the way of popcorn and I didn't buy the $45 drinks and the $50 bucket of popcorn. But, it just it's like going out to eat at a restaurant. Okay, there's the social interaction. It's a different environment. But I hate going in to anything and getting beat over the head with this left wing liberal agenda for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever the heck that they're
Oh,
doing. I mean, I'm just
it's
over it.
just the movie theater. I seem to get beat over the head no matter what form of broadcast media I turn on.
Yeah, it's sad. It really truly is sad. And again, if people actually, if the majority of people actually believed all of that nonsense, they wouldn't have to harp on it so damn much. But it's just I'm tired of it. I want to when I watch a movie, I want to be entertained. When I watch a television show, I want to be entertained. I don't want to be
Well,
lectured
and one thing
about
is,
how awful of a human being I am because I have
I don't
male
watch any.
genitalia
I don't watch
and
any of the new
have
stuff.
white skin.
Everything I watched was made from the 80s and the 90s and was made in England.
No, I understand. I can't hardly watch a lot of this
Now,
stuff
I will
either.
say this: movie theaters, yeah, I don't like going. I don't like being around people because people piss me off.
All right.
But I do like the popcorn.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like paying for the popcorn, but I do like it. And my favorite is AMC's. I love their popcorn. I don't know what they do to it, but I love it. And then I got so tickled because AMC showed up on the grocery store page. You can buy
Mm,
AMC popcorn. It's in a bag.
hmm.
And so I said, that's the best thing that ever happened because I can get the movie theater popcorn without going to the Dablane movies.
Right, right.
Well, just let me tell you one thing.
All right. I'm
That
listening.
popcorn sucks.
I am
It
so
is
sorry to hear
not
that.
the same as getting it in the movie theater.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of that has to do with the machines that they use to make it, and then the that synthetic butter that they
Hmm.
spray it down with or whatever. But no, I just again, I'm just I gotta say,
You
I'm just
just a
really
grumpy
tired.
old man.
I am absolutely grumpy. I'm sick and tired of every time I turn around listening to this nonsense. And again,
Mm.
it was one of those. I heard a parable the other day that about there's a man who loved apples, absolutely loved apples. Didn't matter what kind it was, Fuji, Granny Smith.
Hmm.
It didn't matter. He loved them, absolutely loved them. But the man hated trees. And so he made it his life's mission to cut down every tree that there was. Now, people told him, over and over, apples come from trees. He says, no, 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 don't worry about it. They got plenty of them at the grocery store. And he proceeded to managed to get every tree in the world cut down. And then he was as happy as he could be while he ate the remaining apples in the grocery store until they ran out. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that are just not smart enough to realize that they don't know what they think they know. And I'm
Well,
just
I'm one of the
tired of
first
it.
ones to admit I don't know. I don't know everything. I ain't the smartest one, but I am a lot smarter than a lot of the young people nowadays.
It's not just the young people, and I don't blame the young people. I mean, I told you before, and I told you I'm loaded for bear. I was listening to one of these pronoun people talking about Israel and about the genocide, the Israeli genocide, and that the Israelis were Nazis and all of this stuff. And I mean, how stupid do you have to be to call the Israelis Nazis? I mean, how ignorant can you possibly be to make that kind of a declaration? And this person is somebody that is from one of these Ivy League institutions where they preach all of this
I mean,
hatred.
the poison Ivy League.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, again, here's the thing. So, I mean, and I was thinking about that, thinking about all the people that are all riled up about these kids protesting and all that stuff. And you know what? I mean, again, and I'm prior military. Okay. So, and I say prior military because you kind of never really retire. You kind of always still have that personality where you are willing to walk into harm's way so that other people don't have to.
But would you do it now?
It depends on which side of the
No, I
equation
mean
you're
what I'm
talking
saying is let's say the clock was rolled back and tomorrow you had to make the decision of whether you would join or not join. Would you join today in
for.
today's climate for the military?
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances would I join the military for the regime that is in control of what's left of the United States. No, absolutely not. Because they stand for all of the wrong things. Okay. They scream about intolerance, but they're the most intolerant people on the planet. They're the most racist. They are the most intolerant and the most hateful people, and they don't even understand. Okay, so again, back to the point I was trying to make. I was, am I offended by people that are pro Palestine, and anti-Jew, Israeli? I absolutely am, but I am willing to stand up for their right to speak. Now, I'm also willing to stand up for the right of employers not to employ them and not to carry their weight and not to feed them and to ship their butts out to one of these countries that they're so fond of. Okay, because that's freedom. Okay, I
Okay.
have the freedom to think what I want to think, I have the freedom to say what I want to say. I have the freedom to choose to be offended. And again, I've said it many times, people have seemed to have forgotten what I learned in kindergarten, that sticks and stones may break my bones, but
Mm-hmm.
words will never harm me.
Well,
And that,
this with the Palestinian people, I totally like. I don't understand how they're comparing Israelis to Hitler and genocide. But I do believe that those little tent cities and the colleges and stuff, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that's what they're there for. I mean, that's what colleges are supposed to be for.
oh no, absolutely.
But what I do
Absolutely.
have a problem with is when you say this and you're backing a people and you have no clue what they do. Israel has not been in charge of Gaza for a really long time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So
Well,
why are you blaming Israel? And all the
and
aid that they have sent over there, they've already proven that Hamas has seized it and the people aren't getting it anyway.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Well, and again, the point of the matter is that Israel did not invade the Gaza Strip and slaughter families while they and kill
While they were
people
at a
and
music
kidnap people
festival.
while they were at a music festival and all of that stuff. None of that stuff did Israel do. Israel was minding their own business, and these people came in and invaded them, and they are responding in the only reasonable fashion, in my opinion, and that is to wipe out the threat. There's a movie, Ender's Game. Have you
Hmm.
seen that one? I'm sure you have.
How old is it?
Oh, it's an older movie. It was, I don't remember if it was written from a video game or if it was from a book that preceded it. But the one of the thing, I mean, there's a war going on between a different alien species and humanity,
Hmm.
and they have to go through and they have to win, well, at any rate, they go through
Hmm.
to win the war. It's the movie is well worth seeing. Harrison Ford stars in it as the adult star. I don't remember who the child actor was that was the main star, but it's a good movie, and
Okay.
it does have a good message. Okay, but at one point he talks about, you know, when it's the whole thing about a whole measure or half measure. If you take a half measure to solve a problem, you will have the same problem again.
That's
Okay,
true. Yeah.
because you're not taking the
I don't
full
think I've
measure
ever
neither.
seen this.
Well, you should
Oh,
watch
okay.
it.
So the kid that's in it is Asa Butterfield. He's the kid that played the little boy, the Jewish, was it the Jewish boy or the German boy and the boy with the striped pajamas?
Oh, I hadn't seen that one. I may
That's
have
a
to
good
take a look
movie.
at that one. Okay. Um, but at any rate, it's if the point being that they at one point asked him why he um, reacted to a situation the way he did.
Hmm.
It was like, you won the fight. Why did you keep going? And he said, that I won that fight, but I wanted to make sure that I won that fight and all of the fights that would come after it.
Right.
Okay, so it's a full measure and a half measure. And so he took a full measure to solve the problem. And, that's what Israel is doing. They are eliminating the threat from ever occurring again.
They are
And I fully
stomping
understand that.
the cockroach people like they should and treating them as they should be treated.
Right. And again, this is one of those things that, anybody, you have to remember that if you consider yourself a Christian, Jesus was a Jew. Jesus was the Messiah of the Jewish people. It's only by the grace of Almighty God that Jesus chose to bring the message of God's salvation to the Gentiles. Okay,
But the Jews
so
don't recognize him as the Messiah.
not all of them. Some of them do. Some of them do. And I think they call them Jews for Jesus. I know there's another name for it, but it's but still, even so, that is God's chosen people. And we have an obligation to them as their step religion, I guess. And and again, it's when we keep talking about going through and talking about Islam and what Islam is basically preaching and what they stand for, but we never do. But Muhammad was a devout Orthodox Christian, and his goal was to take the gospel, the Torah and the gospel, and translate it into Arabic so that the Arab people could understand the message of Jesus. And it was Uthman al Ibn or something like that who took that message and corrupted it into what the Quran is today.
Right.
And, so anyway, but I don't, I don't, we can talk about something.
Well, and
I'm
what I see,
irritable enough.
this is what I see when you see these people yelling for Palestine and all this. It reminds me of a Mark Twain quote.
Okay.
I like my Mark Twain.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot to like, but
Right.
go ahead.
And he said, never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience.
Oh, absolutely. So, and I mean, again, it's like, never, and I don't remember where this came from. I don't think it was Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain, but, don't waste your time trying no, don't take the time to try to teach a pig to dance. Okay.
Right.
The pig's never going to learn how to dance. It's a waste of your time, and it annoys the pig.
Well, exactly. But the funny thing is I keep hearing, oh, well, Israel came and took the land. It was Palestine. It was only Palestine by the British Mandate of like 1920.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was known as Israel up into the 10th century BC, starting in about the 10th century BCE, is when the first areas it was known and the word Israel was used. So I don't get to where they say that it's not Israeli land.
Well, it's not. Their argument is completely absurd. I mean, again, I can understand that they may feel like some of their ancestral lands were taken away, but you're absolutely correct. The lands had already previously been taken away by the British Empire. So, and when they took it away in the first place, well, I mean, again, it was the land of Canaan before before Israel moved in there the first time. And then, of course, the Babylonians.
It was in the land of Canaan in the Middle Bronze Age, about 2100 to 1500 BCE.
Right. And so, again, I mean, and still, I mean, I understand. I do understand some of it. I can understand there being some argument and there being enough of a reason to come to the table and have a discussion about how to live together in harmony.
Well, now, but wait a minute. Israel's done been to the table. Israel offered this. They don't want it.
I know. They have, I mean, it goes all the way back to Yasser Arafat in the
PLO.
70s and 80s. Yeah. And again, and Israel consistently tries to offer an olive branch or consistently did try to offer an olive branch in a way for them to move forward and live together in some form of harmony, and they consistently refuse. Okay, and I get it, I understand, but at the same time, if you cannot coexist, then eventually you're going to have to tangle with somebody, and whoever comes out of that on top is who's going to come out of it on top. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to be Israel this time, and they have poked that bear one too many times. Yeah, no, I agree.
But and I also see, because truthfully, if you look at the conflict there between Israel and Hamas, because it's not the Palestinian people, let's say what it is.
Right.
It's Iranian-backed Hamas.
Absolutely.
And the Houthis and them other idiots that are up in Syria.
That are also chanting death to America every opportunity that they get.
And they would all the blue and pink and green-haired people that are of the LGBTQ LMNOP community would automatically be put to death as soon as they found out what they were over there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what I see, though, is you actually see, you can see correlations between the face-off between Israel and the face-off of Hamas/Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of correlations in that face-off that you could make between different factions in the United States now, just not to the level of violence.
No,
Because the
absolutely.
venom and the hate is is in the exact same temperature and vein of what is going on over there.
And again, that's what utterly astounds me about all of this stuff. Because like I already said, those people are calling everybody hateful, and they're the most hateful people on the planet. It's like, again, what blows my mind is the pronoun people and whatnot that are all screaming about how Christianity is evil and, Islam is good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you said, Islam will kill you if you are not. Islam preaches that you are to, if you are not of the Muslim faith, that you are an infidel and you are to be subjugated or exterminated until you will willingly submit to Allah/Islam.
Well,
Okay.
they can come over here. We'll sit down and talk about it. I'll give them a country ham, egg, and cheese biscuit and a cup of coffee, and we'll come to an understanding.
Well, and again, that's the thing. I mean, I'd love to come to an understanding, and it's fascinating. And I've mentioned many times, that
Grits.
my girlfriend, my girlfriend is Costa Rican, and so I deal with quite a few
That,
Latin American
that,
people, and they're always amazed when, after a few minutes of being around me and any of my friends, because they are constantly told what hateful, bigoted
well,
people
hey,
Southern
now, wait a minute.
people
I
are.
am always amazed at being around you, too.
Well, I understand, but they're
That
always
wasn't what I was going
amazed.
to say. Is I actually read an article today
You
about
actually
Costa
read an article.
Rica.
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a cave down there called the Cave of Death,
Okay.
and it's it's within close proximity to a volcano,
Well,
obviously.
there's pretty much all of Costa Rica is within relatively
Well,
close
what they're saying
proximity of a
is
volcano.
like he was using like a torch, like
Uh-huh.
to demonstrate it, and it's just like the atmosphere in that cave is so heavy in carbon dioxide
Uh-huh.
that if we went in it, we couldn't breathe, and if you put the fire in it, the fire goes out, and that's why they call it the Cave of Death.
Well, I would say that's a place that I don't want to visit in Costa Rica personally.
Well, what we'll do is we'll
I
set
do
up the
want to
meet. Well,
see it.
now here's what we'll do: we'll set up the meeting with Hamas. We'll tell them, if y'all go ahead and get there and set everything up.
Yep.
Go ahead and sit down in the cave, and we'll come a little later.
There you go. We'll
Fucking
come in.
cock,
We'll
little
meet you in
bastard.
an hour.
With the country ham, egg, and cheese biscuits.
But my point being that they're all fed by the media that we're all hateful, bigoted, stupid,
I have
and all
said
of that
this
stuff.
all along.
Yeah.
I have not. I grew up in the South all my life.
Yepper.
I'm old, or
Yep.
older than I want to be, and I've gotten even older because my eyes don't work no more. I've had to buy glasses, and that just don't fit in with my Bruce Wayne swag I got going on.
I'll get you some contacts and stick your finger in you.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
I
I'm gonna
tried
tell
it
you
for a
why.
while. I
Because
didn't like it
I
either.
thought about getting contacts, and I said, you know what? Here's what's gonna happen: is my fat butt's gonna drop on them rascals,
Right.
and my butt ain't gonna get down on the ground looking for the damn thing.
Well, the problem I had is because I have astigmatism, they wanted
Yeah,
to
you
put
got a
these
stigma. I'll give you that.
yeah, they wanted to put these fancy things that are weighted on one end and all this stuff in my eyes, and the darn things never did stay lined up where I could see in one of my eyes. They were always off, and so
Mm-hmm.
the one of that particular was my left eye, and so and they do pop out, and the doggone thing would pop out of my left eye, and I couldn't tell the difference when it was out. And so I'd be digging in my dadgum eye at night trying to get the darn contact out, and it was gone. And so, I mean, either that or I got 4 or 5 of those contacts still rolled up behind my eye, and they're just never coming back out. But
Have you
anyhow,
ever heard of a Javan tiger?
yes,
You,
I have.
well, did you know that now that they may not exactly be extinct no more?
Really?
That
No, I did not.
they are. There was an article today that's saying that it still exists, and they have found DNA, and that the species is could be on the cusp of making a comeback.
Well, good for them. I am thrilled by the fact that there may be a comeback of the Javan tiger.
Well, I mean, I'm all for all animals, but and stuff
Yeah,
like
me
that. But
too.
see, it's like we talked about last week with that guy in that dad bang blame bar with that wolf that he hit it with the snowmobile and then he paraded it
Oh,
through the bar with his mouth shut. Now that got my dander up.
yeah, yeah. I am not a fan of any sort of cruelty to any sort of animal. Well,
Well,
I mean, and I'm not a fan of cruelty towards human
well,
beings
I
either.
ain't a fan of wolves either because they like bite, kick, and scratch. But
Well, they're apex predators.
well,
They're not supposed to come up and give you a warm fuzzy
well,
feeling
now
and
the
give you
only
a good.
time I will have beef with a wolf if it
Mhm.
comes up and tries to do something to my Flossie dog, then we're
Well,
gonna
I'm
have
with
a
you.
problem. Cause then
Well,
we go.
yeah, no, I'm with
Now,
you. And
see, you
again,
thought I was gonna get all worked up because I'm on 3 peckered billy goat, and I was gonna say bad words, and I ain't said but maybe 5 or 6 this whole evening.
yeah, I've been surprised at my own restraint. I don't
I
think
have
I.
too. I don't even know if we can find the keys to the General Lee.
Oh, now that's a dangerous position to be in there. That is a dangerous position to be in.
There was an
But
article
again,
that came across today that they're not calling it civil war in America anymore. Okay, not
do tell.
like
Yeah,
if it's going to be a new civil war, they're not calling it that.
why
They're
is that?
calling it the divorce of America. They're going to say that each side's going to get divorced from the other.
Well, I that puts me in mind of the old joke that I was told when I did divorce, and that is, why is divorce so expensive? And the answer is because it's worth it.
Well, that's
And
true.
yeah, and I mean, again, it's one of those where I don't know. I mean, I have tried and tried and tried to be accommodating and understanding, but it's at the point where if you can still, after, I mean, the Democrats have had 12 years out of the last 16, and those 12 years have been an absolute nightmare for the citizenry of the United States on every conceivable level. And if you can watch that Democrat shit show and still vote Democrat, your commitment to stupid is beyond something that I'm able to tolerate anymore.
Well,
Okay?
but here's the thing: it, arguing with a Democrat or a millennial or Gen X, not Gen Xers, we're pretty bright. Gen
Mm,
Zers and all that stuff. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. Okay,
okay.
no matter how good you are, the bird's going to shit on the board and strut
Well,
around like they want it anyway.
well, and that's about the truth. But it's just, you know, I'm just about out of patience. Well, no, I am out of patience with the whole thing. And, it's just, I mean, again, we're watching the judicial system. I mean, and let's just take Donald Trump's name out of the whole thing. We're watching the judicial system attacking a presidential candidate and twisting the law into a shape that is completely unrecognizable, won't even say what the crime is that he's on trial for. It's like when Pelosi stood up on um, the at the dais, the podium of the Senate, and says, "We're not going to tell you what's in the bill until after you vote for it." That's not how this stuff works, okay? And yet they're not. I mean, and they're still standing by their idiocy. It's I can't fathom it. I mean, when the news media tells me I've got more money in my pocket and I look in my wallet and there ain't no money there
Mm-hmm.
because eggs cost double what they cost a few years ago
Yep.
and my
Everything's up
salary
by at
hasn't
least
gone
40 or
up.
50% over what it
Yeah,
was. Eggs are 100%.
yeah. And I can't, I mean, and I've gone from putting money in my retirement fund to living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have more money. I mean, you have to be stupid. I mean, you have to be a special kind of ignorant to listen to. I mean, why would you listen to the news media when they're lying to you to begin with? I'm sorry, but that makes my head hurt. If you lie to me once, I'm going to call you out on it to see if you might have just made a mistake because that's just how I am. I'm going to give you a shot, but I'm always going to check on you. I'm going to check up on you after that fact. And then after the second time you lie to me, I'm not going to trust anything that comes out of your mouth ever again. And just from the 4 years of the Trump administration, we have the Jussie Smollett hoax where he paid two people to beat him up and fake a hate crime. We
Mm-hmm.
have the Bubba Wallace fiasco with the noose that was a pull on the garage door.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Covington Catholic school boys that were maligned as being as out there, stirring up hate and discontent. And it was that, oh, what was the name of that group? They're a hate group that was actually out there stirring up trouble and heckling them. And I mean, and you got
Yeah, but on
Russiagate.
that one with that kid from Covington High School, that guy got in his face. That kid didn't get in his face.
Absolutely, he didn't. And then the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, where they tried to wreck his life
Well,
for
and it's
an
still
act of
going
self
on now
defense.
because they're protesting and arguing and all this stuff at wherever he's going around speaking
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff now. So it's just, it's
Well, yeah, and I saw where Whoopi Goldberg still hadn't paid him the $22 million settlement or given him the public apology that she's supposed to. So they've put a lien on her house
well, there's one
at
thing
this
about
point.
Whoopi Goldberg hadn't been relevant since the movie Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I don't remember that movie.
Yeah,
I do remember the title, but I don't know that I ever saw it.
she was like a computer analyst, and she got hooked up into some spy and talked to some spy and tried to help save some spy's life.
But here's the point. There is not an actor on the planet that's relevant. They're supposed to entertain you. They're not relevant. I saw Mark Hamill talking about what a wonderful president Joe Biden is. I mean, again, I Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, newsflash, are two different creatures. Mark Hamill is a real person, a real human being. Luke
Mm-hmm.
Skywalker is a fictitious character that lived in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
And he's
Okay,
dead.
and he's dead. That's exactly right. So, you know, I can't. I mean, it's
Now,
like everything's.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
care about Mark Hamill's political, and I don't listen to when people say something. I don't care what, like Taylor Swift. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I don't even like her
Right.
music, so it doesn't even matter. I didn't even know
Well,
she had hits. But
I mean, and I
I
got.
do think
I'm
Mark
sorry.
Hamill did a good job on the voicing the Joker in the Batman animated series.
Well, he's a talented actor. I give you
Shitty
that.
Jedi, great actor.
Yep, there you go. But again, and it's one of those things where, but in like Robert De Niro, I love a lot of the roles and movies that Robert De Niro has been in. I think he's a magnificent actor. But I could give a rat's butt what his political opinion is. And I just don't want to hear it. Go out there and do your job, which is to entertain people, and shut up. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, I saw Susan Sarandon was out there with the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas people on some
Dang, she's
campus
still
running her
alive? I
mouth.
thought she died a long time ago.
Now, I could not possibly care less. I mean,
Well, I do
she,
know this. The latest poll came out in North Carolina, and this is
yeah,
just in North Carolina.
yeah,
And let's just face it, I really don't give a crap about the rest of the country. North Carolina is where I live, and that's the only state I
mhm,
care about.
right.
73% of North Carolinians are 100% sure that that the U.S. is going on the
In the
wrong
wrong
track.
direction. Yep,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, again, it's one of those that but that goes back to,
and we had Joe Biden reading teleprompter
oh my God,
things
yes,
again.
I
He said,
saw
man, just, I don't want to be mean,
Oh,
but is this like, did God forget him or something? Can God not just come and take him?
I don't think
I
he
mean,
wants it.
well,
I
he
think he's
probably
probably
don't.
looking at him and going, God, don't bring that guy up here.
Well, he probably
I'm
ain't
sorry, I
going.
shouldn't say
He
that. That's
probably ain't
ugly.
going up there anyway. He's probably going somewhere else.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean,
that's
because
for me
he's
to decide.
supposedly
But
Catholic and believes in abortion and all this other stuff.
yeah, he is not a Christian in my opinion.
If he would have espoused the ideas he's espousing
Hmm.
between the 20s and the 50s, he would have been excommunicated.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. But I mean, again, the church has gone a long way away from where it should be as
Oh,
well.
most definitely.
I mean, again, that's the whole problem because you and I've talked about this before. Back when, back in the 60s, if you and I had the same opinions we have right now, back in the 60s, we would have been considered Kennedy Democrats. Okay, because the Democrats used to believe in free speech. They used to believe in the working man's trouble and the working man's plight.
Well, now,
And now
Democrats
they
also
don't.
used to believe in the Ku Klux Klan
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
and Jim Crow
Absolutely.
because all of that was passed by Democrats.
Absolutely it was. And it's just, again, how can you still, I've got a good friend that, unfortunately
That's a little bit
is,
kind of surprising because you normally after about 15 minutes, you piss people off.
well, I do, I'm sure of that. But yeah, but at any rate, he is a dyed in the wool Democrat. Now he is a Second Amendment rights enthusiast. He loads his own ammunition and he votes Democrat. Now he's also kind of an atheist. I'm not sure he's sure about it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's one of those people that, and I've never met an atheist that wasn't angry. And it's really kind of funny because I've had that conversation, and every once in a while somebody will say, "Well, I'm an atheist and I'm not angry." And if you talk to them for about 10 more minutes
They
and
are angry.
you just let them say something, they will eventually turn around and say, "And the church did this, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what really pissed me off." Well,
Well,
okay,
most of the time when they're atheists, though, you find that they were forced to go to church as children and beat over the head with the Bible, and 99% of them grew up in the Southern Baptist Church.
oh yeah, well, yeah, I'll give you a lot of that, especially in this area. I can't tell you worldwide, but out of my
Well, yeah,
sampling,
well, this is
I'll
my
agree with
area of
you. Yeah,
experience.
right. From my sampling, I will concur with you wholeheartedly.
Well, and I
But
mean, if our sampling don't match with other people,
well, and I mean, again, it's fine. That's the one of the beautiful things about actual Christianity and about conservatism is that my beliefs are based on my interpretation of the facts as I have researched them. And it
or
is completely
live through it
okay
with
with
life.
me. Well, and that's part of my research is the way I live. But I am perfectly okay if someone has looked at these same facts and come to a different conclusion. Problem that I run into is that most of the people who have come to a different conclusion have not looked at any of the facts in a serious fashion. They just
Well,
feel a
they're
certain way about it.
regurgitating what somebody else has told them or what
Absolutely.
somebody else has heard that somebody
Yeah.
else said.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so therein lies the problem. But at any rate, back to this story. So he is absolutely still going to vote Democrat and for whoever the Democrat candidate is because he likes their policies. And I asked him, I said, what policy is it that you like? You have children. Are you a big fan of infanticide and abortion and killing babies even after birth? Well, no, I'm not into abortion. I don't think that's a good thing. And okay, well, are you a fan of abolishing the Second Amendment or the First Amendment? Second Amendment's going to get rid of your guns. No,
And your
I'm not a
taxes are
fan of
going to
that.
go up by about 43%.
Yeah. And I mean, again, at this point, what I think we ought to do, really, on both sides, if we can just agree that things are not right, what we should do is every single candidate
Well, here's the problem.
that
I
wait a
think
minute,
you're,
let me
well, no, wait
finish,
a minute.
please.
Okay,
Let
go
me
ahead.
finish. Every single candidate that we consider for any public office, including dog catcher, needs to sign an oath to agree to dismantle the permanent bureaucracy from the local level all the way up to the federal level and not pay another penny in federal taxes from the citizenry of the state until the federal government is brought back under control and brought to heel. And if they don't agree to that, you shouldn't vote for them. I don't care if it's for the county dog catcher.
Well,
Okay, go
okay.
ahead.
I think both sides understand that there's a problem. All right. What I see is both sides want to point the finger at the other side and say it was them, not us. There is no sense of responsibility on either side.
Well, no, I mean, again, that's why I don't.
Because let
I'm
me
not
tell you
saying.
this, whether they up there and they voted for it or not, they're
Mhm.
still part of the body that green stamps this crap,
Oh yeah,
put everything out to the Federal Reserve,
oh
and
yeah.
rob the piggy bank of Social Security, and
Borrow
and they
in
go up there and make one
billions of
hundred and
dollars from
seventy
China.
thousand dollars a year and come out worth 20 and 30 million.
Absolutely, no, yeah. They have turned. It's the uniparty, and they have turned the whole of the government into a gigantic money laundering scheme to enrich themselves at the expense of the citizenry of the United States. So again, that to me is the most reasonable way. Because I mean, there's corrupt. This is one of those. Anybody that says, "Oh, there was no fraud in the election," is a liar. There's been fraud in every election that has ever been held since the beginning of elections. Period. And there will be fraud in them forevermore. Now the trick is you got to have the wherewithal and the diligence to check and root out the fraud, and then do something about it when you discover it. Okay, and that's the same thing as with people breaking the laws. Okay, I mean we're in a world now where you'll get the FBI knocking your door down if you have the audacity to go pray in the lobby of a Planned Parenthood clinic or out in front of it. You'll have people attack you, and you go to jail if you defend yourself from being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that's out there throwing bricks through car windows
Or
and
the illegal
stealing
aliens that
everything,
keep coming back across after being deported
yeah,
and killing people and stuff like that.
they get them as soon as their butt hits the seat in the holding cell, they've got somebody getting them out. But so all of these NGOs, they've got to go. They have got to go. And I mean, and my thing is, it's like, okay, so if we're, this, and even Fox News keeps calling it the hush money trial. Okay, so if this is illegal, then where is the trial for Bill Clinton? Where is the trial for Joe Biden? Where is the trial for all of these, Arnold Schwarzenegger, All of these people that have bought and killed stories, whether they were, that they were salacious, whether they were real or not. When are they going to trial?
Not Hillary Clinton. She's an angel.
Oh, of course, yeah. Hillary Clinton.
Do they have to go?
Do what now?
Or they got to go? They have to go?
They need to go to trial. Absolutely. If we're going to hold one man to trial, this is the point. Justice is supposed to be blind. It's not supposed to look at your name. It's not supposed to look at the color of your skin. Now, I will grant it. I'm not foolish. I know that the legal system has never been perfect either, but we were a whole lot closer to perfect than we
Before
are
Barack
now.
Obama.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, that's when all of this stuff went off the rails. And again, I may have said something about it, de Tocqueville's Democracy in America. If you don't want to read the whole book, I don't blame you. De Tocqueville was a very pedantic Frenchman, and he took way too many pages to say something fairly simple. Read the foreword, because the foreword encapsulates the book very well, and it explains that what de Tocqueville discovered was that it was the Judeo-Christian values of do unto other as you would have things done unto you. That was the only reason that democracy in America did not devolve into the same mess that it has everywhere else that has been tried, and that as soon as people realized they could vote for their own interests instead of the benefit of the people in the government, that it would fail. And we're watching that happen right now. And again, I know I've spoken about the interviews with the survivors, the Holocaust survivors, and when they were asked, how did you let this happen? Their answer was always the same. Well, we knew they were crazy. We thought it was going to just blow over. It doesn't blow over. It's got to be stopped. And it's not going to be stopped unless we take an active role. All right, I'm going to shut up. I told you I was on a roll tonight. I need to hush.
And with that, I don't believe you're going to hush, because
I'm not going to hush.
Those smoke boxes are piled up way high. But that is the snout to the curly tail and everything in between, because we have gone on a lot longer than we should have, and I'm ready to go get drunk.
Roger that. Have a good night.
And we go.
All right, you crazy bunch of motherfuckers. Wait, can we say mother? Anyway, you've been listening to the Carolina Underground. It isn't politically correct, it's just correct. Our motto is, if you can't go balls deep, don't go at all. Actually, that's not our motto, and I'm sorry, I don't even know what that meant. All right, we gotta go. We hope you enjoyed the show. And if you didn't, we hope it really pissed you off. Follow us on Twitter at Carolina UNDGRND Underground, get it? Or drop us an email at Carolina UNDGRND, get it? At northstate.net. We want to hear from you. Y'all be cool. See you next time on Carolina Underground.